So 40 to 50% of Americans who live to age 65 will have skin cancer at least once. More people are diagnosed with skin cancer each year in the US than all other cancers combined. Okay. Functions of the skin. Let's detour really quick here and talk about functions of the skin. Our skin is our largest organ. It covers and protects other organs. It regulates our temperature. It receives sensory input, and it synthesizes vitamin D. The skin is the body's largest organ, and it's important because it protects all the other organs. Let's talk about the vitamin D dilemma. Vitamin D promotes strong bones and muscles. It is made in the body when our skin is exposed to sunlight. But we also know that too much exposure to the sun can cause skin cancer. Some people are at higher risk of having low vitamin D than others. These include people over 50 years old, those with naturally darker skin, and people who cannot go outside or spend little time outside or cover all of their skin when outside. A diet rich in vitamin D is important. Taking a walk for 10 to 15 minutes outside can also be efficient for most of us to get sufficient vitamin D. Everyone is at risk of cancer, regardless of age, race, or gender. Bob Marley. Many of us are familiar with the king of reggae, is what I like to call him. Bob Marley, the famous reggae singer, he had a type 6 skin, and we'll go over the different types of skin variables that we have as human beings. He died from melanoma, which first appeared on his toe. He thought it was from an accident from when he was younger. And even darker skinned people may be at risk for skin cancer. So this right here is an example of the importance of checking our whole body for skin cancer because skin cancer does not discriminate. Let's talk about the types of skin cancer. Melanoma. It is the most aggressive type of skin cancer. It can be deadly if left untreated, and it may appear as an irregular or changing brown, black, or red spot or an unusual freckle or mole. And cancer in general is an abnormal growth of cells that can occur anywhere in the body. But surviving melanoma is possible if it is caught early. Acral lentiginosis melanoma, or ALM. This cancer right here, or this type of melanoma, appears on the palms of our hands, on the soles of our feet, and even under our nails. And I have some example photos right there. You can see the mark on the foot in the top corner, melanoma in the toe in the middle, and melanoma with the line down the toe at the very bottom. Those ALM examples are not toes or of Bob Marley at all, just examples. Melanoma is this type of melanoma, ALM, is rare, but it is the most common type of melanoma in people with darker skin and those of Asian descent. And so ALM is typically a dark spot on the skin that is surrounded by normal skin color. Next is squamous cell, and squamous cell is commonly occurs on the head, neck, or the back of the hands. It is the second most common form of skin cancer. It often looks like a red, scaly bump or a sore that won't heal. This cancer, squamous cell cancer, it can also spread to other organs and lead to death if not treated. And lastly, basal cell. It's usually found on areas of the body that gets a lot of sun exposure. It is the most common form of skin cancer. And I just want to say that again, that basal skin cancer is the most common form of skin cancer and the most common cancer. It is found on areas that receive large amounts of sun exposure. And the bumps on lighter skin look pink and pearly, but on the darker your skin complexion, the more brown and pearly the bump is. So your skin is made up of 3 layers: the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. And this diagram shows you these layers of skin. Basal and squamous cell skin cancers occur in the outer layer of the skin, the epidermis. The purple areas on the left plane of this figure show you how melanoma can penetrate deep into all skin layers. Melanoma can also penetrate into blood and lymph vessels and spread to any other organs. This is why melanoma is so dangerous. And next, I will be passing the mic over to Minister Belinda. And Belinda, you have control of this screen as well.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to use a phrase from our pastor and ask, is everybody all right?
Amen.
It's a lot of information, but it's education, and it's something that we really need. And that's exactly why this slide is repeated. Everyone is at risk of developing skin cancer, regardless of age, regardless of race or gender. So I know you heard it before, but remember, the myth was that we don't burn, right? That people of color can't get cancer, skin cancer. I know Black don't crack, but I do know we burn. So we burn. So just want to make sure that you are aware of that. Welcome. I see Lindsay's iPhone. Not sure if that's Sister Lindsay or Deacon Terrence, and I sent you the link. If you would complete the survey for us, the pre-survey, that would help us. And welcome. So let me see here. So let's go on to, we talked about the types of slides or the types of skin type. So I want to just go over that. I know that Sister Karita talked about it, but we all have different types of skin. Just looking at the screen, you can see that's evident. And so this is where I want you to help. As I read through these types, please type in the chat what you think your skin type is. So type 1 is very fair skin, always burns, never tans. Then type 2 is light skin, usually burns, does not tan easily. Type 3 is darker, but still light skin, but burns first and then tans. Or are you type 4, light brown skin, burns minimally, tans easily? Or then we have type 5, which is brown skin, rarely burns, tans deeply. And our last one is type 6, which is dark brown skin, never burns, but always tans deeply. If you can put that in the chat. Again, that we're all different, but they identify us by these 6 different skin types, and they're ranging from the very pale to always burning to very dark, never burning. And again, some skin tones are more likely to sunburn, which, for example, would be someone with freckles and tan. And sometimes these are signs of damaged skin, and they increase the risk, of developing skin cancer. Did everybody get a chance to decide what skin type they are? Okay, the answers are coming in. Very good. And when we further through this presentation, you'll see why I asked you to think about what skin type you are. Okay, so just a few facts, just so that you're aware. And we actually reached out to our our colleagues at the University of Arizona today just to verify some information. And so what I found out, this was updated today, that the statistic in the box are lifetime risk of developed melanoma. And actually this slide should be melanoma, excuse me, in the slide, but essentially what it means is 1 in 38 white Americans will develop melanoma in their lifetimes, but 1 in 167 Black Americans will develop it. So, and what that means in the next box is the 5-year survival rate for people of color is 66.2%. The 5-year survival rate for the white or Caucasian individual is 91%. So just kind of keep in perspective that yes, we do, we can have skin cancer, but our survival rate is better if, again, we go to the doctor and have that taken care of. And we'll talk to you about that a little later as well. Okay, thank you for putting your comments in the chat. So, see, this is active participation here. So the next slide, I need you to also participate. If I can find
Right.
my advance. Hold on. I still have, you know, this is always that concern when you're doing technology, right? That you cannot advance.
Go to the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, I don't even have a bottom left-hand corner right now. So give me a minute.
Or just click on the screen.
Yeah. You too can do a presentation. It is not letting me. It says I'm controlling. Hold on one second, y'all. For some reason I don't have my bar at the bottom. Karita, could I ask you to advance it?
Yes. Do you
I don't
see
have my, I don't have the
It's
bar at the
advanced.
bottom.
Okay. It's advanced.
Okay. Actually, the next slide, please. I don't see it. Maybe I'm frozen.
Oh, let me see.
It's not advanced.
Okay, thank you. That's Sister Brenda. You know how this goes, huh?
Misery loves company.
I don't know. Well, while we're waiting for this, I can still ask you to type in the chat for me this to answer to this question. So what do you think causes most skin cancer? What do you think causes most skin cancer? You can just type your answer in the chat. I thank you, Sister Brenda. Overexposed sun. Thank you. Very good. Very good. So if I had a bell, it'd be ding, 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 because you all have the right answer. It is, we call it ultraviolet radiation, too much exposure to ultraviolet radiation, which is radiation from the skin. So we can't see the ultraviolet or the UV rays, but the UV light is harmful radiation that can penetrate your skin and damage your DNA and of your skin cells. And this is what can lead to skin cancer. So next slide, please. Okay, and one more. Thank you. So what this is saying to us is that the energy emitted from the sun, it's made up of UVA rays, which are the age rays that cause fine lines and wrinkles, or the UVB rays are your burn rays. And then we have the UVC rays, And those rays are what we normally see at hospitals where they have machines that they use to sterilize equipment. So the UVR, which is again the ultraviolet radiation, that damages your skin, and that's responsible for sunburn and tanning.
You want to try it now, Belinda?
Okay. I still don't have the bar.
Okay, no worries.
There, I have it now. Okay. Okay. So then let's talk a little bit about what influences the ultraviolet exposure, which we see the pictures here, and we would probably all guess or say that the time of day, because we know that. Anything on here that really land cover is listed, the seasons are listed, the time of day, and ozone layer, and the Earth's surface. Anybody have any surprises or anything that they were not sure about? If you can just type it in the chat. Or maybe you all know most of the answers. But as you're thinking about that and as you're typing, I'll just review that the closer you are to the equator, which I think we all know that, the more UVR exposure you receive. The why seasons are here is because summer months have more hours of sunlight than winter. And the altitude, the higher altitude increases your UVR intensity. The ozone layer depletion, the ozone layer helps to prevent the UVR from reaching the Earth. And then reflection. So reflection is able to reflect off of surfaces like water and off of snow, off of sand, and off of pavement. So even in the summertime, that's probably why we always want to wear sunglasses, but also anytime during the year from that reflection. And again, because of all these factors, it is important to pay attention to your environment and to practice an acronym that we're going to talk about later. It's called ACE. Those ACE behaviors to protect your skin. And Sister Latanya is going to talk about that a little bit later. One more second here. There we go. So then this index here is based on a scale of 0 to 11 plus. What this is, it's a universal tool that measures how harmful the sun's radiation is on any given day. The scale range is 0 to 11 plus. And again, the higher the UV index rating, the less time it will take for damage to occur on unprotected skin. So you can actually find this information if you want to see what the levels are in your area. There's an app that you can use on your phone. And newspapers and the news usually reports it daily. So what would your guess be? Where do you think a typical summer day, where we would be on the index for Arizona? Anybody want to guess? I think it's a given.
Yeah, you can type it in the chat if you would like as well.
Hi, you're exactly right. Actually, okay, I'll let the guesses keep coming before I give the answer. Ah, yes. Any other answers? It's 11 plus. It's extreme. The peak UV index for a typical summer day in Phoenix is 11 plus or extreme. So for this reason, we want you to be conscious of that. Something you probably didn't think about it, but if you're a walker and you want to go out, it's recommended that you walk when it's not that high, when an extreme is not that high. All right, we're almost here. So we talked a little bit before about how your skin type or what your skin type was. So this slide here actually is showing you that. You're going to hear Latanya talk about a little bit about the recommended minimum SPF for your body. And so this is saying if you're type 1, then it's saying that you would only have your skin would only have 3.3%. But even the darkest skin, if we go to 6, is only 13.4. And the recommended SPF for anyone is 30. So no skin tone has enough natural SPF to properly protect them from the UV rays. And again, another myth is that we don't need sunscreen. But yes, people of color actually do need sunscreen. So no skin tone can entirely protect from the UV rays. And so we want to make sure that you're aware of that. So this time, Sister LaTanya will talk to you about other ways to prevent skin cancer. Thank you.
All right. All right. So hopefully you guys are so far enjoying all the information that's presented. There's just a little bit longer to go here. This next section will explain how to prevent skin cancer. The University of Arizona Skin Cancer Institute developed an easy message to help you protect your skin and to detect skin cancer early by using the ACE method, or ACE. A is to avoid UV rays. 2C is to cover your skin. And then number 3, examine your skin. All right. So the first letter of the ACE acronym, A is for avoid. You can't always control when you have to be outside, but you can try to schedule your activities to avoid peak hours of sun intensity. So between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. in Arizona, the sun's UVR is the strongest and most direct. Also, avoid getting sunburned and be aware of reflective surfaces like water, glass, sand, or concrete. And, you know, we live in a concrete jungle here in Phoenix, so you gotta protect yourself. So if you do have to be outside, make sure you seek shelter or seek shade. All right. The second letter of our ACE acronym is C, and the C is for cover up. You can cover up many different ways. Tightly woven clothing is a sure way to protect your skin. You can also apply a broad spectrum sunscreen with a sun protection factor of SPF 30 or higher. This blocks 97% of the UVR. And to cover your lips and eyes, make sure you apply a lip balm and wear sunglasses. And make sure your sunglasses have 100% UV protection. In addition, you can even start a new fashion trend and pick a wide brim hat, right? For sun protection that covers the top of your head. It'll cover your face and your ears and your neck. So all those open exposed areas need to be protected. So for excuse me, for more sun protection use, make sure you use that sunscreen. That's going to be an important factor. And when selecting your sunscreen, these are some highly regarded factors. So look for sun protection factor that's SPF 30 or higher. You want to understand that there is no such thing as waterproof sunscreen, right? And check to make sure if your sunscreen is expired, because all sunscreen expires. And when it comes to active ingredients in your sunscreen, you want to make sure you check that label, look for zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, or avobenzone. This is what makes it a broad spectrum product. But most importantly, make sure you apply to all uncovered skin. Don't forget to reapply every 2 hours if you are out in the sun. So more time will be spent on this topic of SPF during upcoming workshops. But we want to just say that SPF number tells you how long the sun's UVB radiation would take to burn your skin when using the product, exactly as directed versus the amount of time without any sunscreen. So just make sure we get that SPF 30. That's an important number.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is there an issue around kids versus adults in terms of the SPF that they are able to put on their skin? Does age matter?
No.
No, everyone, I think we looked at the chart that tells you that your darker skin only has SPF 13.4, and everyone, all ages, gender, races need SPF 30. So even on your children, make sure you put SPF 30. And we'll find out more information about that when it comes to children versus adults on maybe what type of sunscreen to use when we have our workshops and can bring more experts in to answer those direct questions. So also remember, as you ladies start your morning routines, that with the makeup, don't forget your sunscreen. Because some individuals use makeup regularly, it is important to consider the role of makeup in your sun protection. Makeup alone, does not necessarily protect your skin from UV light and the sun. If you use makeup products with SPF, it is important to apply sunscreen on your face with SPF 30 or higher before applying your makeup. If you use makeup products with SPF, make sure your product has SPF 30 or higher. Also read the makeup's label to know how much the product you need to use for effective sun protection. For example, our Mary Kay moisturizer has SPF 30, and the foundation primer cream has FPS 15. So for all you that use Mary Kay, they do have some levels of SPF in it. Just make sure you get with your Mary Kay provider. It's Minister Belinda. She can help you more with that.
Thank you for the commercial.
All right. So the University of Arizona conducted a focus group among people of color and found that many of them were not happy with products available on the market when it comes to sunscreen. The focus group found that these products listed here in the picture to be better suited for people of color. So we have Black Girl Sunscreen. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. That's a more popular one now. And you can find that all these products in Target, Neutrogena Ultra Sheer, or the Equate Ultra Sheer. I think that one is Walgreens. Okay. The University of Arizona Skin Cancer Institute does not endorse any of these companies, but for the focus group, they found that these work well with people of color. They don't give you that white residue that some of the more popular, like Coppertone, those might give you kind of a ashy look if you rub those sunscreens on you. Okay. And now our final letter of the ACE acronym is E, sorry. And E is for examine. Skin cancer can start from a mole or a skin spot. Remember that melanoma can spread and be deadly. So it's important to examine your skin every month. Know your skin spots and moles and pay attention to any new or changing ones. If you see something suspicious, get it checked out. This is important for both men and women. Because I think, when we think about after many decades of campaigning for breast cancer screening and self-examination, it's now part of our societal norm for the month of October to do breast exams. Well, in May, that's the Melanoma Skin Cancer Awareness Month. And so we want to spread this information now, the importance of annual examination by your healthcare provider and your monthly examination for yourself, that you do self-monthly examinations. And that's for everyone, for all people of color.
Amen.
Now, finally, here is what to look for when you're examining your skin spots or moles. The ABCDEs. A is for symmetry, B is for border, C is for color, D is for diameter, and the E is for evolution. These are all signs of melanoma. If you check your skin regularly, look for changes. If you see changes, then contact your healthcare provider. Now, I'm going to share something personal with you guys. My own personal concern developed about 3 years ago, but it wasn't until we received the training for melanoma in October that I even had any kind of inclination that I may myself have one of these ABCDEs. And so I'm going to show it to you on screen, okay? Can you guys see that? That little mole or bump there developed right at COVID. And I've picked at it, I've rubbed on it. It's not even thinking that it's something that I need to check out. But now that I've had this exposure to this information, in October, when I got this training, I set up an appointment to see a skin doctor. Now, it's taken 5 months, but in February, my appointment will fire. Sometimes it takes a long time, but I'm assuming it's because of my insurance coverage. But I'll be able to see a skin doctor in February to just see exactly what am I looking at on my finger. And so with that being said, that concludes my part of the presentation, and I want to pass it back to Minister Belinda to wrap us up.
Actually, there's one more slide.
Thank you, LaTanya. Karita's gonna go over this slide, very important slide.
Yes, and real briefly before I do to answer Deacon Greg's question, I don't know if you can see this, but we have coloring books for the children, and we have a separate program for them as well. And by the grace of God, again, he has just been orchestrating and leading our steps. We do have a relationship with Black Girl Sunscreen, and they are giving us these samples to try out. So all of our members will be able to try out these sunscreens. And again, it's just really light. I put a lot on, but it just absorbs right away into the skin and without leaving that white residue. And you could just apply it. One lady said, apply until you die. Definitely apply, not just during the summer, but also during the winter, because we get sun out here 360 days a year. So just wanted to mention those real briefly. So our next screen here is how to self-advocate. As you heard from Sister Latanya, it's taken her a moment to get her doctor's appointment, and she has excellent health insurance. And there, she had to advocate for herself. When I took my wellness check to have my skin checked as well, so did Sister Belinda, and you'll hear our personal testimonies. We realize as people of color that not only do we need to educate ourselves about skin cancer, but we might have to educate our doctors, especially if they don't look like us, about skin cancer. There is two African American doctors here in Arizona that we have relationships with as well. One is a female doctor and one is a male doctor, and you'll be hearing from them during our workshops. So some things that to help you self-advocate if you come up against any issues is to first know your skin with the ACE method. Do those skin checks. If you have a spouse that can help, check hard to find areas, check your back, use a handheld mirror, know your skin in and out, and be confident in it and what you know. When asking for a skin exam, sometimes the doctors might even call it a mole check. You may have to ask twice, be persistent. They might say, oh, you're okay, or that's just the mark, but it's best to rule it out and that it's not dismissed. I believe in Bob Marley's story that he was misdiagnosed a few times before it was discovered that he did have melanoma. And again, by that time, he was in stage 4. Know your insurance. Very important to contact your insurance ahead of time, to know what your limitations are, to know what dermatologist you can see. And if you don't have insurance, then know where you can go and get those free wellness checks as well. There are skin cancer checks that are free in the area. The Skin Cancer Organization does has a mobile van, and they come from state to state to give free skin checks. And so during my procedure, the front desk person told me my insurance was limited, when in actuality, if I would have believed her, I would have had to drive way far north Scottsdale, and I might not have made that appointment with, finding childcare, having to spend 4 hours in a day to make this appointment, where I could see a doctor that was right here in Gilbert. She just didn't want to make the change to the doctor that was closer to me in Gilbert. So know your insurance and be confident in that. Research and find a doctor that you like, and see if your insurance is able to take them. Ensuring you have no limitations. When I went to go see my doctor, transportation was an issue for me at the moment. And so you want to make sure you have no limitations to see the doctor, childcare. If you need childcare, make sure everything's set up in advance. Take notes with you because you're going to receive a lot of information. You don't want to miss what the doctor has to say, and you want to retain it. And if you have to, take a friend, a spouse, a family member with you, if you need that comfort or support, and try to build rapport with that doctor right away. They're going to be in and out of your face in just such a short time. So try your hardest to make sure that you build some rapport with them. Speak up. Mention skin issues and symptoms without embarrassment. A lot of times, symptoms of maybe feeling exhausted or having itchiness or feeling extra thirsty, that can all correlate with other skin issues, similar to like psoriasis. And so you want to speak up and mention everything. Don't feel embarrassed. Everything should be confidential, and you want to give as much information as you can to the doctor so they can make the best decision. If you have a issue, ask for answers, ask for tests, to be certain that a skin rash is just a rash, request a biopsy. You have to definitely advocate for yourself. And if you're feeling unheard or dismissed, or you feel that there's racial bias with your doctor and they're really not listening to your concerns, move on, find the next doctor, and get that second or third opinion. And just know that you have to fight for your life harder than that they will. And so next, I'm going to hand the slide back over to Minister Belinda Miller. Oh, I apologize. I hit the stop share.
All right, so thank you, everybody. Wow, this has been a lot of information, and we are well aware of that, but this is so important. And so just a reminder to use the ACE so that you can make sure that those behaviors for sun protection. And again, the sun is powerful and can do irreversible damage. So we're going to call on you again one more time for your help, because we need to measure the content that we just shared with you. So we're going to ask you to go back and take the survey, and we're going to call this a post survey now, is the QR code.
Yes.
Okay.
Go back
And
to-
then I also put the link in the chat. And did we decide we wanted them to do all the first part?
just redo the whole entire thing again.
Just if we can
Yes.
just have you
Yes,
redo
yes.
the whole entire, it won't take long. It took less than 4 minutes. And because that'll measure, because we have a evaluation team that'll measure what your score was when you took the pre-test and what your score was now that you're taking the post-test. So